I am with Josh Matlow, the manager of the Baycats, discussing what this team has been up to during this extended offseason and what this team plans on being up to heading into the 2021 season. First off, Josh, thanks for coming on. And just what has this team been up to over the last few months as your tenure began not in the way that you expected it to?
Yeah, it's well, thanks for having me. It's been quite a challenge, I'd like to say at the least. Obviously, we were gearing up for the season and getting everything ready in terms of all the pieces to the puzzle. And then all of a sudden, this thing called COVID happened and really kind of threw us off and forced us to basically find other things to do to fill in some time, which was really challenging for I know myself, but personally a lot of the players that I've heard from. Obviously, they've had baseball their whole lives, and they're not used to having time off. So it was one of those things where I'm not even coaching yet, and I've become someone to talk to, I guess you could say. But it's been a real challenge, and we try to keep ourselves busy. Obviously, there's no baseball activity going on right now with all the restrictions. That should happen sooner than later. But we've been taken to the community and trying to do some community events, and we really had a good opportunity to reach out to some of the foundations and the community events within Barrie and Simcoe area. It started with being outside for Family Day in February. We had Ryan Rio and Branfi Infante signing autographs for the kids, taking pictures with the trophy, and we did a little campaign to stay at home and try and encourage people to stay at home and let's get up to the ballpark and stop this COVID thing. And we also did an RVH. We raised funds for the frontline workers. We gave away some hitting sessions with Ryan Rio and some pitching sessions with Brad Grieveson, the pitching coach, and some season tickets, flex tickets, stuff like that. And it was just really nice to get, be a part of things in our own way as best as we could. And then we just recently did for the Barrie and Children Shelter, the Women and Children Shelter of Barrie. It was, we walked in high heels, which I have to say was quite a challenge in itself. But it was fun. It raised awareness for abused women. And the beautiful part about all that was the coaches were on board right away. And then we had two players. We were going with Branfi and Ryan Rio. We're going to do a merchandise shoot to show off the new merchandise. And we didn't even tell them about it. And they showed up and we were in high heels already. So they weren't really sure what they signed up for, but we were trying to keep it lighthearted and have fun with it all.
Right, and you mentioned Ryan Rio and Branfi Infante. Rio is going to be the face of this franchise for the next decade. A guy like Glenn Jackson's mentioned that a couple of times. Just when it comes to Rio, when it comes to Infante, how important are those two guys moving forward, both on the field and off the field, to this team?
Yeah, you couldn't ask for two better people, to be honest with you. Branfi's that perfect Dominican Republic story, now a Canadian citizen. Ryan Rio is a great story. Local boy, was a Baycats fan growing up, and now the face of the franchise. And it's such good feel-good stories. And I think this year is going to be so cool, or next season at least will be very cool with all the youth coming up. I think a lot of the fans who used to be Baycat fans are now going to be Baycats, and there's going to be some pretty cool stories about that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think they're two great guys. They've embraced it all. They've been a part of all the community events. They're really excited to get out there, obviously, but they've been fantastic, and it's making my job a little bit easier for sure.
Right, and as you mentioned, Rio and Branfi both will be faces of this franchise moving forward. The guys that were some of the faces of the franchise last decade, Ryan Spataro, Jordan Castaldo, a few others, they're on the fence about coming back next season. Just what would you say as a small pitch to those guys when it comes to, their interest level in terms of coming back to the team in 2021?
It's very straightforward. It's open door policy with these kind of guys, but just join us. Join us for a historic seventh. I wouldn't see why you would not want to.
Right, and Castaldo, when I had my podcast with him, he mentioned coming back for that 7th straight championship. Even if this team doesn't get to 7 straight championships, this team has a goal in mind, long-term goal in mind, led by you as the manager. You're hands-on both on and off the field, in a way that I think Doug Dimmo was when he was a GM here, both in terms of being on and off the field. Just what's your goal for this team for the next 10, 5, how many years you're around for this team, both on and off the field?
Well, that's a great question. And I think the obvious answer is to win. Obviously, we want to, keep that winning culture, but I think we want to really be, I don't want to say a helping hand, but we want to be more involved in the community. I think that's very important. I know it is to the ownership, and I think we can do that. I think we can do that long term. I think we've started have fantastic in the first 7 months, but I also think, and what again I'm really excited about is the youth pipeline. We're really tapping into the minor baseball, into the upcoming young stars. We're really utilizing the junior status for the players that we can have a part of our roster. And we have about 3 or 4 guys alone as pitchers that can touch 90 miles per hour, and they're just 18 years old. So we're really excited about that. We're really excited, like I said, to have, past Baycat fans as kids growing up and now putting on Baycats jerseys. And I think if we can build that foundation with some young stars, I think we're going to be good for many years in many different ways. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and I'll ask one last question before we get into the fan part of this Q&A, and that is, you mentioned a lot of the local kids. Maybe the guy you're most high on is Hunter Campese, the left-handed pitcher who's from this city. How important can guys like that be, especially as we head into an offseason in which you don't know if there's going to be imports for the 2021 season? You don't know what it's going to look like in terms of how many minor league baseball teams there might be and guys getting released and what have you. Just how important is that local tapping going to be? And that's something that a team like Hamilton has really relied on the last couple seasons as they have begun to turn their franchise around.
Yeah. There's really a lot of uncertainties. Obviously, at this point, with the season about 10 months away, we don't know what the border looks like. We don't know if imports can fly in. We just don't know. Obviously, the local talent is where we want to really build that foundation. Like I said, with the youth, Hunter is just a born leader. This kid shows up and just pumps 90 miles per hour with his heart beating out of his chest on the mound, and making some of our guys look bad. He was just bringing it. And it's so exciting to see that not only he's going to be good, but the guys who will come in will see this. He's, like I said, he's just a born leader. And I think it's really going to, it's a true testament to some of the kids we're bringing in, like I said, to really build that foundation for the future.
For sure. And now we'll move into the fan part of the Q&A. I wish, in hindsight, 5 months ago, I wish, at this point in August, we'd be talking about maybe the Baycats being in a championship series, but simply there's not a lot of baseball to talk about. But we can still make this work with some questions from the fans, and I believe a question from a former Baycat. So looking forward to that, and I want to thank you for doing this part of the Q&A with me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited, actually. I'm looking forward to what the fans have to say, and just happy to be a part of it all, for sure.
Great. Thanks, man.
Hey Josh, Sandy here. Just wondering how you plan to motivate our wonderful Baycats 2021 team after a year off due to COVID-19. I look forward to your answer. Take care. Bye.
Good question, Sandy. It's funny that nobody can plan for this, but I just feel that I don't have to get these guys motivated. They're excited. They're hungry. They want to get on the field. I'd love to say I have a plan to do so, but I don't think I need to do that. I think they're ready to go if we started the season right now. So, I'm going to go with I don't have to do anything. They're going to be hungry and ready, I promise.
Hi, my name's Tammy Bedford. I've been a Baycats fan for a long time. I just want to say congratulations, Josh, on becoming the Baycats coach. My question is, will it be on TV, the away games and the home games, and will the prices change?
Thanks for messaging in. To answer your question, I don't think I can give too much information, but as far as I know, the 2021 season, all home and road games should be, and hopefully will be, broadcasted live on YouTube, so that you can follow the Baycats on the road. Every team will have a feed, and you can follow our YouTube page. I believe it's Barrie Baycats, if I'm not mistaken. And you can follow us there, and we'll have every live feed there, as well as pregame and postgame for the home games, as well as the tickets. We are not changing pricing. The pricing will stay the same. It's still $125 for an adult and $100 for seniors. And as you all know, kids 12 and under, I believe, is free at the door. So in terms of value for a family of 4, for example, it's $20 to $10 tickets, and any food, obviously, you want to eat or drink. And that's it. So I think it's actually, believe it or not, the best value in all of Barrie compared to all the other venues. And I look forward to having many different families and having family-oriented events at the park this year or next year.
Hey Skip, how's it going? Rob Daniels, your in-game host here for the Barrie Baycats. Manager Matlow, I'd like to know what were some of your favorite moments from playing college baseball in the United States of America. I find it fascinating when Canadian athletes head out to the U.S. and play on a scholarship, especially when it comes to baseball, football, or basketball, and even hockey in certain parts of the U.S. So let me know, what were some of your favorite moments from playing college baseball in the United States? I look forward to your answer.
That was memorable for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of stories that I can sit here and tell you, but obviously it's very challenging. I was very excited as someone who started baseball very late to get a Division I scholarship, and it was memorable in many different ways. But there's one story specific I want to tell because it had to do with the Baycats, and a lot of people do know this, but a lot of people don't know this. For Game 6, when we played Toronto in 2005, I was supposed to be back at school, as was a lot of the players already. And what happened was it was a mandatory team meeting that Sunday night that I decided to miss because I've stuck it out with the Baycats all summer. They needed the players, to be honest with you, and we were outmatched with the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I decided to stay. It essentially worked out nicely because we won a championship, and I was able to, I believe, add an add-on RBI in the 9th. But it ruined my college career because when I went back, it didn't show well. So I was known as the guy who ruined his college career for the Baycats to win a championship. But I have a ring to show for it, and I would do it 100 times over. That I can promise. So it's worth it. I encourage it for all the youth baseball players. Give it a shot. Try to do it. You're going to play the best baseball you can possibly play. You're going to see some of the best pitching. I definitely encourage it, but it is a lot of work. And if you're not willing to work, it's just not for you.
Hey, Barrie Baycats, we're some of your biggest fans. Just have a question. We love going to the park to watch you guys with the kids. Are you expecting anything new next year for them to play with or to be entertained? That'd be great. Thanks. Bye.
And the kids for messaging in. Yeah, that's a great question. As we know, a lot of the kids come to the park and the parents bring the kids and they let them loose, let them throw some baseballs, and there's really no activities for the kids. We're speaking to a company that brings in some of the inflatable baseball stuff and games and stuff like that we'd love to have down the line there just to kind of entertain the kids, so you can go off, watch a ball game, maybe have a drink, maybe some food. But like I said, it's very family oriented, and we want to make sure that not only the adults for the baseball game are entertained, but the kids as well. I can't promise candy floss or anything like that, but we're working on things, I promise. And we're going to make sure that next year we're going to have a lot of fun things to do for the kids, maybe even some face paint. So we're working on it, that's for sure.
Hi, I have a question for Josh. Josh, has any player ever lost a tooth during a game? And if so, how much did the tooth fairy bring for that tooth? Thanks.
I actually don't have the answer to that question. I don't think anyone's ever lost a tooth in the history of baseball. If they have, I have no clue. No clue on that one. I hope no one loses their teeth. I don't even know if insurance covers that.
Hello, Baycat fans. Hope you're doing great. My question is, will Ryan Rizzo, the Dream, end up beating Castaldo's home run record? That is my question. I also just wanted to tell the fans I love and miss you, and I miss driving up on a Saturday night, Sunday afternoon in cottage traffic to join you guys and live the dream as we battle for all those championships. Nothing but love, and I miss you all the way from Ajax, Ontario. Go Baycats.
Glennie J, great to see your face. Thanks for this. Yeah, that's a great question. Jordan Castaldo hit a lot of home runs, and I think that his overall total, I think Mr. Rio can reach over the years. Rio's only 23, I want to say. So if you do the math, he could be around for 15 years maybe. I think he can be the all-time home run leader. As for a season, I think it was 15 for Castaldo. That's really tough. That's really tough. But I'm going to go with the all-time home run leader, Ryan Rio.
We have some fan questions too, a couple of writing questions for people that didn't do videos. First, Kathleen asks, do you expect this team to compete for a championship in 2021?
So the obvious answer is yes. I truly believe that not only are we going to be competitive, but we're actually going to win. Obviously, that's the obvious answer. I have to say that. But the truth is that I just want to stress that we're not rebuilding. We're retooling. So what happened was some of the guys who retired, we went out, we got younger, stronger, and faster at each position, and we feel that they can either perform just as good or better, making us just as competitive. And it's hard to say after a championship team has won 6 in a row, but I think on paper we're going to be better. What that looks like, I don't know. Obviously, we haven't played together as a team, but I'm really excited about a lot of players coming in. I'm really excited about their talent levels, who they are as human beings, and what they bring to the table. So I'm very excited. I really hope the fan base is too. But I really want to stress that we're not rebuilding. We were able to sign some really, really big Canadian names, one a Dominican name, and I really just want them to understand that not only are we going to compete, but I think we're going to be the team to beat.
For sure. You guys are the team to beat until someone beats you guys in a 7-game series. And the last question from Kathleen, asking if, are you single? Some people are into ball guys. I think that's something that a couple of Baycat managers have in common. The last one I think also was bald to say the least, and then asking for a friend, obviously.
That's great. No, I'm not single. I'm very happily married. Thanks for asking, and sorry to break your friend's heart. But to be honest with you, this is actually a perfect opportunity for me to thank my wife for being so supportive and understanding how much I love the Baycats and how important it is to me. And if it really wasn't for her blessing, I wouldn't be sitting here as the general manager and head coach. So thank you. We also just had our little baby girl 6 months ago, right before all this COVID happened. So for her to kind of allow me to be at the ballpark with the boys, when we have an infant, it's just a blessing, and I'm just so grateful. And she is so supportive. So thank you very much, my beautiful, loving wife.
For sure. And I appreciate, Josh, you doing this. Hopefully this offseason, once we make some signings, we can come back on to actually discuss baseball instead of just some hypotheticals heading into the 2021 season. So I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me as always. And thanks to everyone who wrote in. And I'm really excited about the season. It's just an extended off season, but we'll get back at it, and we'll make sure that we have a very exciting team on the field. But we're going for our 7th championship in a row.
Perfect. Thanks.